It's that time of year again. It's time for our annual November auction. This year, we had over 800 bags of fish, so I definitely had to come home with some new fish for the fish barn. So let's jump in and take a look at some exciting new additions. Cyprochromis are some of my favorite aquarium fish in the hobby, and I'm always on the lookout to add more to my fish room. This year's auction didn't disappoint, with there being numerous bags to choose from. I couldn't let this group of Cyprochromis microlepidotus caramba pass me by. This species of Cyprochromis is really hard to come by, so I was really happy to be able to find this locally, since Cyprochromis notoriously don't ship well. I currently have this group of fry growing out in a 29-gallon tank with my lone Xiphophorus gordoni that I picked up this year at the ALA convention. This is not a permanent home for these fish, but I'm hoping they'll act as dithers for the gordoni until they grow large enough to move to larger quarters. I'm really excited to see these fish grow out. I'm really excited to see where this colony goes in the future. And I'm really excited to see how this colony turns out in the future. So let's talk about these black mollies. These were some of the nicest mollies that I've seen in the hobby. They had nice round bellies and were absolutely gorgeous, coming in at about 3.5 to 4 inches long. There were about 4 bags of them in the auction, and I just really couldn't pass them up. I'm currently keeping them in a 20-gallon high aquarium, but I'm seriously thinking about moving them to one of my larger tanks. Maybe a 40 breeder or even one of my 75s. We'll see which fish I want to move around to make that happen. I really want to get this group breeding so I can keep this line going and pass these beautiful fish on to other hobbyists. I generally don't buy a lot of guppies unless they're very specific strains, but I did fall in love with these red coral guppies. I haven't had any red fish in the fish room for quite a while, so I thought it would be fun to play with some common guppy strains. I received a pretty nice group of these fish with a fair number of adults as well as quite a few fry. I ended up putting this group in a 15-gallon tank, and I'm really looking forward to seeing how this colony turns out. Now, I didn't get these at the auction, but I did get these at the club meeting that was on the Thursday before, so I figured it was close enough to talk about these tricolor swords. These fish were a donation from one of our local fish stores, Fishy Biz Aquatics, who have donated quite a few fish to the club over the past year or so. So I definitely recommend checking them out if you're in the Metro Detroit area. I found the coloration on these fish to be absolutely stunning, and you cannot pass them up. I have this group in a 20-gallon tank, and I'm really looking forward to getting some fry and getting some of these beautiful fish out to some of my other fellow fish keepers. This next group of fish I thought were the steal of the auction. This bag came up at the very beginning of the auction, and not a lot of people were paying attention, so I was able to purchase this group of 4 Cyprochromis leptosoma lavua blue orchids for about $10, and I'm really happy to have them. They've been a little bit reclusive since they got home, but are working to settle in to their new 40-gallon breeder. I'm sure they'll be fine once they settle in. I'm really looking forward to getting this fish breeding and getting some more Cyprochromis out to my fellow hobbyists. I do want to spend a moment talking about the other side of the auction, and that's what I sold. I was able to pack 40 bags total with 20 bags of fish and 20 bags of plants. I did end up making a little over $200 after the club took its cut. Our club has a 70-30 split, with 70% going to the seller and 30% going to the club. I took mostly the fish that I breed in excess, like a lot of my Endler, Guppy, and Limia strains that I have quite a few fry from. I also did take a group of Cyprochromis fry, as well as a group of shell dwellers. I actually did learn how to get the shellies out of their shells, which will probably be the subject of a future video. I did have to make a couple of tough decisions, but I did end up taking my small group of Xiphophorus variatas from Rio Coaquilco to the auction to make some more 20-gallon tank space. Don't worry, because I do have a separate breeding group of this strain that is already going strong. I do hope that you enjoyed taking a look at some of the awesome new fish that I found for the fish room. So that being said, stay safe, stay fishy, and I'll catch you on the next video.